Peace. I did a recording in my last recording. I talked about what are some things that you can say to remember to honor yourself. And you say it in the morning, or you say it in those times where you forget. You have moments of forgetting or regrets. Wish you could have changed situations. So I was speaking about when you're interacting, you're out and about and interacting with people. No one really knows what your love language looks like. No one really knows what your respect language is unless you show who you are. So you're always going to get the opportunity to represent who you are and show who you are. And also there's people that are around that are also going to notice you. Sometimes they'll notice you before you even being aware, especially if you're in a situation where you feel like, okay, you don't want to be manipulated, or you don't want to feel like the illusion is what's happening, or the distortion is what's happening. So the best thing is, to be aware. And I talked about pausing, how important it is to hold space for yourself, because when you slow down, that's a form of processing. When it comes to shipping items, there are processing times to make sure that the packaging is correct, the labels is correct, the address is accurate, so that it can be shipped in the way that it needs to be. The weight is correct. The same thing goes how we're maneuvering and interacting with others, how important it is. And I have to remind myself as well to slow down, because sometimes, especially if you have air placements, we can move a little fast, and or even fire placements, we can move impulsively, right, wherever it's dominant in your chart. And I have earth placements, but I also, in my earth, especially if you are Virgo energy, you are ruled by Mercury, which is an air element. And not only that, earth elements are very sensitive, right? So because that sensitivity, you got to hold space for yourself. You have to be able to slow down, and that slowing down and pausing is listening to your environment, is listening to the invisible world, what is not necessarily being said verbally, but the things that you are feeling emotionally, giving voice to that. So let's say someone says something and you disagree. Pause as they're saying something. Pause so you can really assess your emotion. Pause so you can really notice the environment. Because what that's going to do, and you have to get comfortable, because sometimes I feel the reason why we may rush is because we may feel uncomfortable. It may feel awkward. But it's in the awkwardness that we have breakthroughs. Because what happens is that if you dismiss what's happening and you move beyond the awkwardness, you don't want to feel awkward. Later, you may ruminate on the thought of whatever you wish you could have done in that moment. But because it maybe have rushed, and let's say someone asks you a question, or they ask you to do something for them, and you say yes to it, but really that yes was supposed to be no. You got to first say yes to yourself. So if you're saying yes to yourself, then it's a no for the other person. And then not allow yourself to hold on to the guilt or feeling bad, like, oh, you know what, maybe, no. That's your mind coming to you. No. You have to honor your emotions and not have second thoughts or overthinking things like, oh, maybe I should have did this differently. No, because your emotion told you that this is what you needed to honor in that moment, right? So what helps is that acknowledgement, pausing. And when you do that, you're really tapping in with yourself. These are forms of meditation. That's why, it is important to have it more practice of slowing down. It might just be starting with breathing techniques. Because I still, I was saying I had challenges with meditating, but these days it's like, it's getting easier for me just because of how I changed, like, I've been intaking herbs regularly. I've been committed to my health. I won't say I'm 100%, but I'm a lot better than I was months ago. Like I was on that coffee. Okay, once in a while, I love my iced lattes. But now I'm just like, I even had a dream where they were serving iced lattes to everyone. And it was in the dream that I noticed that I was served a latte before. It was weird. It's like in the dream, I remember a day before they served me a latte, but that day in that dream, I said no to the latte, and I knew why, because I'm like, I want to tap in. I want to get into the ease of tapping in, because you have to understand the reason why you may not be able to tap in is there's various things. One, first and foremost, you may actually have that, you may allow yourself to get in that state of fear, like, oh, I don't want to see things, because sometimes you're very gifted, right? But you don't want someone to just come up on you or talk to you in your ear like out of nowhere, or you don't want someone sitting on your bed or like just startle you. You don't want your spirit team, that to come at you, and they'll understand, so they'll go away. They're not trying to scare you, right? So sometimes if we don't believe, it's not going to show up, but it has to first start with the willingness, right? To want to be able to connect, to be able to tap in, and trusting that you have the ability to do that. Because even when I said, oh, I have challenges, I can also be putting out there like I'm just shutting it down, and I don't want to do that. It's almost like saying, like, you wake up from a dream, and to do a dream recall, when you say, oh, I don't remember, that's negating it. I will remember. I know. I remembered. Those are the thoughts to share and say. So anyway, so that's one of the things that I wanted to share also, is like, what I know who I am. I honor myself. So looking at yourself in the mirror and saying these things, or what works for you, really feel guided to tap it into what is going to work for me, because it's more powerful than me saying or giving suggestions. However, you can start with some of the examples that I shared. So when you're in situations with someone, so what happens is, when you take those pause moment, processing time, you're honoring yourself, and now you don't even have to worry about later on thinking about the situation, because you've already dealt there. You've already dealt with it head on. These are the challenges that we go through. What's the challenge for you? So for me, it's like bringing to light the things emotionally, how I'm feeling in the moment. And I don't care